In today's video, it's going to be an exciting one because I'm going to break down exactly how brands are able to scale past $100,000 per day in sales with something called unaware ads. Okay, I'm going to break down the theory behind unaware ads. I'm also going to show you 3 ads of multiple 8-figure brands. So make sure to stick until the end because that part is saved until the end. Okay, before we get further into the video, this is just one of our own clients, just so you understand the type of caliber of clients that we're used to working with at the agency typically on a day-to-day basis, and also so you know the type of data that we have access to on a daily basis. Okay, now that we got the proof out of the way, let's just jump right into the video. The first thing that I want to talk about in this video, as I say here, let's start with the foundations. I want you to fully understand how important it is to crack unaware ads and why. Okay, first of all, these are the 5 stages of awareness. There's unaware, there's problem aware, there's solution aware, and there's product aware, and of course they're most aware. These are basically, it's 4% of the market, right? And it's the most unscalable, as you can see over here, portion. Why? Because most people are not most aware of a product or a solution, right? And of a product, and same thing, the more you go up and the more it's scalable. In fact, this is the distribution of this awareness stage, right? The sophistication, the market sophistication. So there's unaware, there's 60%. So between unaware and problem aware, right, which are the 2 kind of foundations. I know that I talked about unaware ads here, but I also am going to talk about problem aware because they're kind of like in the same stage, or they're not, but they're both scalable. That's what I mean to say. So if you are able to crack these 2 levels of awareness, which is 80% of the market, you're pretty much golden. Okay. Now I have to also, before getting into the ads and talking about, the ads specifically, I also want to say one important thing. Each awareness level has their best funnel, okay? It's not a one size fits all. I'll give you a perfect example. We've been working with some clients that come to us. They're doing just fine, whatever. Not $100,000 a day for sure, but they're doing fine. But what they're doing is that they're basically creating ads that are very, with a very high level of awareness. So typically in the most aware or product aware stages. In fact, they're basically direct offer ads. And what they're doing with these ads is that they're sending them to a product page and it's converting at like 4, 5, 6%. They're like, boom, I got a winning landing page. I got a winning ad. Cool, amazing. The next thing that they want to do is once we start introducing the fact of like unaware, problem aware, because it's more important when it comes to scaling, right, and actually getting the results scaling, then what they do is that they basically copy and paste the same product page, or not copy and paste, they just use the same link on the ads, right, and they just use it for a less aware ad, so like a problem or unaware type of stage of awareness type of ad, right? And so what tends to happen is that this just doesn't work because those people are not ready to buy, so they're not ready to immediately go through checkout and add to cart. So ideally, this is what it looks like as you go deeper into the rabbit hole of like more unaware people. So the more you go with aware, so as you can see here, I divided this in like colors. So green is like most aware, and then it goes to orange, and then to like red, which is like unaware. So this would be problem aware. You get the point. So the more the level of awareness is high, and the more you can, basically give them a checkout link and purchase. So AKA product page. The more the level of awareness is lower, and the more we need something called pre-sale pages, called advertorials or listicles, 5 reasons why, the top 7 products in the industry in 2025, why 10,000 people bought this product in 2025 and how it's changing their life, and then you give like 7 reasons why. So basically they're called pre-sale page, that's what they're called. And so they're basically, the whole goal is to nurture people, give them more information, so that they're able to then make a decision to purchase the product. They're not ready to buy, right? That's definitely for sure, because then they would resonate with these types of ads. So if you can crack these 2 levels of awareness, that's when you're really able to scale. What most companies do, unfortunately, right, is that they just specialize in optimizing basically 16 to 15% of the market, right? Around 15, maybe 20% of the market. Because this is an example of, I forgot what this, I think it's in the pest control industry. The pest control industry is valued at like, $30 billion, and just like 20 billion, right? Or I would say 80% of that is coming from these 2 levels of awareness. But what most people do, in fact, we see ads like this of like very product focused. When the ad is very product focused, you're basically telling Facebook, give me and allow me to find and reach people that are already product focused, because the ad is product focused. Literally, we're seeing the product in the first 5 seconds, or we're seeing the product immediately with an image ad. And so what most people do is that they are able to like perhaps scale, because if you crack most aware, like product aware, solution aware, you're still going to be able to get some results. But first of all, it's way more competitive, right? And second, because everybody's going after these people that are like ready to buy. And second of all, it's way less scalable. So it's like in most cases almost impossible to reach $100,000 days by just cracking these two and perhaps even like these three for sure, right? We have to crack these two. And so this is what the best way to scale and what 8-figure companies are doing. In fact, I'm going to show you examples of 3 ads. So stick with me until at least that part. But this is where basically we want to crack these two, unaware and problemware, because they are the most scalable ads. You have to see it this way. If I have to just visually show you so that you have a really good understanding of this, if you want to scale, you have to go after the majority of the market, which is this is basically this gray area here is like your market, right? Your bubble. And so we want to be able to crack these. If you don't crack these, you're basically going after minuscule portion, which is super highly, very, very high competitive, and it's very hard to crack. What is the caveat in this? The caveat is that you have to be able to craft very, very, very good ads. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples of these 3 ads. Then I'm going to show you and break down some of a bit about the structure, about you can utilize a similar structure to perhaps do the same with your company. Okay, so first of all, let me share my screen over here and show you these 3 ads. Let's start with the first one. I'm going to move myself a little bit over here. Okay, and before we actually go further into the video, this is just a R2V8. I'm not sure exactly how much they're doing, but I would imagine that they're doing around 8 figures. They have 900 active ads. One thing that I do want to note over here is that, as you can notice, they're sending people to an editorial and like a listicle, something called a pre-sale page, and then you can check the availability, and you can actually proceed to checkout, etc., etc. Even then, this page is full of information, right, for people in case they're not like 100% ready to buy. So this is the funnel that I was talking about over here, right? These 2 levels of awareness. So there's literally the proof is in the pudding. That's what I just showed you. So let's go over here and go over an example of an ad. Let's start perhaps with this one, and let's break it down.
If you're 50 plus with neck pain, you need to hear this. You wake up and if you're 50 plus with neck pain, you need to hear this.
First of all, I like how they called out the avatar. Okay, that is just a good. If you call out the avatars, and it's not just for everyone. There's a high level of resonation. I talked about this in my previous video a lot. So let's just continue with the video.
You wake up and one side of your neck already feels tighter than the other. You try to turn your head, but it pulls harder on one side and sends pain down into your shoulder. You look up at your kids and feel that sharp, uneven strain shoot through your neck. At night, you toss and turn, trying to find a position where both sides finally feel balanced, but nothing works. You've tried all the stretches, the foam rollers.
So what they're doing here is that they're just building a lot of pain. So this is something called a problem-aware ad. So since the beginning over here, they're saying, are you over 50 and dealing with back pain or neck pain, as they say over here? If you say yes, you know that you're dealing with that, right? Unaware is another type of ad, but unaware is basically it's like a very similar frame, but it's an extra step, an extra colder step, where you have to create a problem for them, okay? Like they don't know that they have a problem yet, and you have to tell them what's the problem, what's causing the problem, and then talking about the problem, agitating on the problem, talking about what everybody tries, and then, there's a whole funnel for that. But this is problem aware.
The posture braces. You've spent hundreds on treatments and devices that...
Here they're talking about failed solutions. So a very smart thing when you're doing these problemware ads, first of all, call out your avatar. Next thing is talk about the problem. Stress the importance of the problem. You see what I talked about, holding your kids. You can't hold your kids. You can't spend your time with your kids. That's also identifying your persona. And then third, it's talking about failed solutions, what you probably tried in the past. So they're doing this in the first 30 seconds.
Promised relief, but the imbalance always came back, and everyone keeps saying you're just getting older. But this isn't just age. Something is wrong. Here's what's really happening. When your neck loses its natural curve.
Here now, it's talking a bit about the science to educate people. Once again, these are the characteristics of a problem or unaware type of ad, which is what scales, okay?
Whether from long hours at a desk, sleep misalignment, or years of looking down at screens, the cervical spine starts collapsing unevenly. One side shortens, the other side overcompensates. Nerves get compressed, discs flatten, and the longer...
What I do like about these ads, in these VSL ads, which is something that I recommend always to have, is when you're doing these types of ads, when you're explaining there's a VSL, make sure your edited team knows how to put the right B-roll, because all these graphical representations and visuals that you're seeing are very good because they can stress the script and the brief of basically the script of the video even more. So if you're talking about back pain and you show a visual about this literally the vertebra like creating the back pain, then you're like more stressed about it. Like you stress the problem more, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
The longer it goes untreated, the worse the imbalance becomes. That's why your neck can end up aging 20 times faster than the rest of your body. Doctors call this cervical degeneration, one-sided tightness, chronic pain, tech neck, inflammation, and the constant feeling that your mobility is uneven. Most devices try to mask it with surface comfort, but comfort isn't correction. That's why a team of cervical therapy experts created something different. It's called PhysioRest, a 3-in-1 solution that restores back.
So here we are 1 minute and 15 seconds in out of a 2-minute video, right? So basically over half. That's when they started introducing the product. That's how important it is to talk about the problems, the pains, the desires, the failed solutions first, or else first of all, Facebook just recognizes and thinks that you're just trying to go after people that are product aware. Because if you say, hey, do you have back pain? Here's the product. Boom, immediately. People Facebook assumes that you want to create an ad that resonates with people that already know or tried solutions. So solution aware people, which is only 10% of the market. Okay, so this is important.
Balance to your neck and relieves the pressure that's been building unevenly for years. First, it uses gentle traction to stretch the spine and decompress the discs. Then, it applies targeted heat therapy to loosen the tighter side and restore circulation. And finally, it delivers deep massage into the traps and neck to melt away knots and bring both sides back into alignment. All you do is lie back for 15 minutes a day. No straps, no noise, no appointments, just you, gravity, and a device designed to reset your neck. It's already helped over 12,000 people restore balance, reduce stiffness, and finally feel even again. Most notice the difference in the very first session. Less pain, better sleep, fewer headaches, and the freedom to turn your head without pulling on one side. You've tried everything else.
So yeah, I don't have to go through the entire ad, but
you've stretched, you've spent, you've waited. Don't let another night go by with that imbalance still locked in your spine. Try Physio Rest Complete.
Okay, so this is the call to action. One thing that I advise you to do is we have a section called Holy Creative Document. Okay, it's a document where we store all of our research about our customer and our creatives. And we have, in the creative section, we have something called Winning Ad Breakdown. And I talk about this often in my videos, where we basically, once we are confident, very confident that a type of ad or a script is going like viral, or it's getting a lot of comments, it got a lot of engagement, and it's making money, whether it's our own ad or a direct competitor or another maybe brand that is sharing a similar audience that you're trying to promote as well, then we basically do an ad breakdown. We break down the ad by the framework, so what's happening and when. So hook is first, then there's a scientific reframe, then there's this, then there's failed solutions, and then there's product mechanism. It's basically the structure of the video. We do the same thing with buying triggers so that we understand what are the triggers that are making people buy. We do this manually and also with ChatGPT. And then we actually, for the editing team, we do a scene-by-scene breakdown with timestamps saying, okay, between second 0 and 2, this happened. Between second 2 and 5, this other thing happened with this specific frame. And so we're like pretty much building our own video from the ground up, but understanding the mechanisms of what made that ad work, which is really important. Now, of course, we cannot do this with every ad. We only do it with like the top 3, 4, 5 ads, whatever the number is, so that we spend our time useful, like it's useful time spent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's an ROI. So this is this ad. I'm gonna go over and talk about another ad, and let's move forward. This is a different type of ad. Let's take a look at what they're doing here. I thought I had a food problem, but really I had a control problem. So this could be also kind of like an unaware framing. I thought I had this, but I had this other thing. I'm unaware. Let me show you how I finally healed and went from this. Trying to create resonation, saying, hey, I always told myself tomorrow I'll start, tomorrow is different. Okay, first of all, I really like this ad because it's a transformation and it's real, right? You can tell that it's real, it's the same face. If you can create that sort of kind of like testimonial or reference for people to say, hey, it's the same person, it's a story, it's real, I can resonate, they went through my same exact path, boom, I'm interested. You see how that is important? I tried this, I tried tracking apps, failed solutions, same exact thing. My sister told me, you don't need more rules, you need to heal. Anti-craving. Okay, this is a big one. Anti-craving. Also, if you can introduce the product in an organic way. My sister told me about this supplement, anti-craving supplement that helped her. It's like third person. So I think this is work. What I'm trying to do here is break down the ad with you, like I'm doing right over here for like, this is how we do it with clients. I'm just trying to do it with you. I'm trying to understand the psychology, the buying triggers, like the psychology behind the structure of the ad and why it's working so that I can replicate it again, okay? finally feel. Okay, so one other thing that is really helpful is if you can find these creators on TikTok, and you will, like if you spend time on TikTok and try, I'm just gonna do an example, like what was it, craving supplement. Like what you'll see, and this is just me doing it from scratch without even looking around, but let me just take a look at one video. This is at 80,000 likes.
It's just a little purple.
Anyways, this is not an unaware ad, but you can basically look, after watching this video, you probably know what an unaware ad is, but regardless of that, what you can do if you have a hard time going through, kind of like finding the creators or doing your own creators and like telling the creator to do exactly this, it's kind of hard. In some cases, we like to contact the creators that went viral already. So just to say this is what we're interested in.
It's just a little.
We would first of all read all the comments and learn more about our customers, but also
soft chew is delicious.
we would contact. Shut up. We would contact Sydney by clicking Sydney. She has 26,000 following. By the way, creators that have a following and that go viral, like she has a big track record of going viral. If you filter by popular, she probably has millions of views, like all these views. So she knows what she's doing. First of all, she did a demo or a video that went viral of the exact product that you're trying to sell, or something similar, or something shared to the similar audience. So and a lot of these creators, by the way, you can contact them through email. And they're good and they're responsive. So this is what I advise if you are trying to recreate something, a concept. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? So let's go through one more example and then we can wrap it up. So this is a company called Scandinavian Biolabs. They're doing very well.
If your ponytail is getting thinner, you're seeing more hair fall, and your part is getting wider, your hair growth cycle could be breaking down. Most women don't know that up to 90% of your hair should be in the growth phase, but stress.
So this could also be, right? Of course, mixture between unaware and problemware, because they can see that your hair is shedding, but in some cases they don't realize it, so they're unaware, like they think it's normal. So this is a perfect combo.
Stress, hormones, and aging can disrupt that balance. This means you're shedding more hair than you're growing, and that's when your part looks wider and baby hairs never stick around. But recent science has shown that it's possible to influence these hair cycles without drugs. One way to do that is with Scandinavian Biolabs.
So once again, the video is 53 seconds. 30 seconds in, we just start to introduce the product. I wanted to show you this video because this is a perfect example of a shorter video. It doesn't have to be a 5-minute video. It's a 1-minute video, 53-second video, less than 1 minute. And it kind of like brings you through the unaware, problemware stage to fully aware. And it talks about scientific studies and science. And let's see where it sends them. It's probably going to be their hair growth routine. They have a pretty nice page. I actually did a full breakdown of this page. This is an example of a product page that also acts as something a bit more than a product page, because there's there's scientific clinical studies. Let me just take this off. There's clinical studies. There's a lot more information about the ingredients. It's like quite in depth, as you can see here. But overall, it's like a product page. I don't know if this ad is exactly, it's only been 12 days active, but I did see other similar ads that they were replicating. So this is probably an iteration, but I'm not sure if this is a retargeting type of ad. Facebook maybe will decide, but my conclusion is that if they're sending traffic to this page, it's probably because it's profitable for them and it's working. Anyways, you get the point. Let me finish the video.
Labs hair growth routine. Formulated with effective plant-powered ingredients, it helps rebalance your natural growth cycle. It is clinically tested to help reduce hair loss, promote new growth, and support thicker-looking hair. People have noticed results in as little as 45 days, and if you don't see the difference, it's backed by a 150-day money-back guarantee. If your ponytail is getting thinner, you're seeing more hair fall, and your part is getting wider, your hair growth cycle could...
Yeah, so these are good ads. Let's break it down and finalize this video by just doing one more thing, which is to give you like a structure that you can follow for both aware and unaware ads. Let me just move myself here a little bit, and let's go over this. Let's talk about unaware ads first. This is a framework that you can use. It's something that we also use, and it's also inspired from this video. You can start with, ever noticed how this symptom or frustration keeps happening even when you think nothing's wrong, right? That is an example of like you trying to bring up a problem and create a problem. Next thing you want to do is subtle pain discovery. So this is where you introduce a problem, then you talk about the problem. So most people don't realize it, but this constant frustration could be a sign of XYZ problem. Then you go ahead and talk about the consequences and agitation of this problem. Like left untreated, it only gets worse, making everyday things harder. This happens, this other things happens, you're agitating the pain. Then you talk about the aha moment, which is like, luckily there's a way to fix it without common misconception or failed solutions, failed attempts. If you tried this, you could have tried this, or most people try this, most people try that, and it doesn't work, right? Mechanism and benefits, and then CTA. So this is an unaware optimized ad. For problemware, which is a lower stage in the awareness level, right? You can go directly with the pain and say, struggling with this problem and nothing seems to help. Then you talk about failed solutions. Like I said before, you introduce the problem, you call out the avatar, you introduce the problem, you talked about failed solutions and frustrations, what they tried before. Emotional impact, it's exhausting, frustrating, and feels like there's no way out. You get the point. And then you talk about your introduction to a fresh approach, which is different. And you have basically, as I say here, a unique mechanism. You talk about the fresh approach. Let me just read what I say here. There's a new approach that works differently than anything else you've tried. Instead of just masking symptoms, it actually tackles the root cause by mechanism. Remember when we talked about masking symptoms in the video with like the neck massager? The masking symptom was just getting a device that was just doing a massage on your neck. That's the masking, right? But that device doesn't only do the massage on your neck, it also has heating pads that actually solve the problem, and that's their unique value proposition. If you don't remember what I'm saying, just maybe go back and watch the video. And then there's a final CTA. So these are just some two standard, without complicating the heck out of this, these are just some foundations that you can use to start making problem and unaware ads which are the awareness stages that you need to crack to get to $100,000 a day consistently. Okay, that's, in my experience at least, the only way to do it. That is it for this video. If you are a brand doing at least $100,000 a month and you want to explore the opportunity of working with us as growth partners, we can partner, help you grow. If your goal is $1 million a month, $3 million a month, $5 million a month, whatever it is, we have experience working with 7-figure brands, of course, but also 8-figure brands. So that's it for this video. Booking a call, you can do that in the first link in the description. And also, if you are maybe below $100,000 a month, even if you're above, it doesn't really matter, but you want to join a community, I also have that. That is the second link in the description. That is it for this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.